Hello, Titans. Both this week and next week, we are going to be in Argentina for our Mundo Miércoles. Argentina is in South America. It is a really big country. It's the 8th largest country in the world by land mass, but that's not what we're going to focus in on. We are going to focus in on one of the most famous and important figures in Argentine history. She was a model turned first lady. She married a man who was 24 years older than her, who became the president. She died when she was a year older than I am now, which might seem really old to you, but it's not that old. And her body was stolen after she died. It was hidden for years. And there's a musical about her. Her name is Eva Peron. She went very commonly by Evita, and the name of the musical that's about her is called Evita. The most famous song from that is called Don't Cry for Me, Argentina. If you are familiar with musicals at all, you might know that one, but I've gotten ahead of myself. Watch this video clip to see what her life was all about.
Eva Peron was one of the most influential women in South American history. The future First Lady of Argentina was born Maria Eva Duarte on May 7, 1919.
Eva was born poor, and she was illegitimate. And so her early life and her poverty shaped the way that she looked at things.
Eva moved to Buenos Aires at the age of 15. She eventually found minor success as an actress on a popular radio show.
Eva was a radio actress and was quite beautiful. That's how she caught the attention of Juan Perón. Juan Perón at the time was the Secretary of Labor, and in 1944 there was an earthquake in Argentina. So he enlisted entertainment personalities in order to help raise funds for the victims of the earthquake in San Juan, and this is where he met Eva, and the romance started from there.
He had some charisma, but it was the chemistry between the two of them that really made his career. And he met her at a point when he was on the rise politically, and she just lit the match, and it took off. They were married a year later, and it's one of the great romances of the 20th century.
Eva really started to be influential after Juan Perón won the presidency in 1946. At that point then, she could carry out her plans, and her main goal was to help the poor.
Eva was adored by Argentina's working class, and in 1948 she started the Eva Peron Foundation.
It was very, very beneficial to the poor of Argentina and really garnered support to the presidency of Juan Perón because of the work that Eva did with the foundation.
This is why he was able to amass such a devoted following that kept him in office.
The opposition resented the fact that Eva went to the foundation every day and put in a full day of work and sat at a desk and received a long line of individuals one by one and wrote out checks. I think a lot of people just saw that as vote buying.
Helping the poor was not Eva's only favored cause. She was a feminist who was passionate about equality for the women of Argentina.
Eva was Minister of Health and Minister of Labor, and both of those offices gave her the opportunity to really advance women's rights. She really took an interest in not just suffrage, but also healthcare, education, and duties that to this day still fall largely on females in a lot of cultures.
At the height of her involvement with both governmental and humanitarian campaigns, Eva suddenly became ill with cancer.
She wanted to run for vice president during the second term election of Juan Perón, but sickness really prevented her from doing that.
Eva Peron's illness came on very quickly. Nobody could imagine that somebody that young and vibrant would just absolutely wither before their eyes, which was what she did.
The Argentine Congress named the ailing Eva the spiritual leader of the nation of Argentina. On July 26, 1952, Eva Duarte Perón, First Lady of Argentina, died. She was 33 years old.
Eva's death caught everybody by surprise, and the response was just absolute national bereavement. Inconsolable, to this day, quite frankly, for some groups.
Eva Perón's legacy is one of empowerment of women. I think the Argentines see her as a woman who did good things, supported the poor, but was strong. and one that serves as a model for women in Argentina.
I wanted to mention a couple things that didn't come up in that video. So the first thing is that Juan Perón was president in the late 1940s, which was right after World War II. He had been interested in fascist ideology for many years, and that kind of played into some of his politics, depending on who you talk to. Some people think it played in more than others. He did, however, after World War II, allow some Nazi war criminals to come and live in Argentina, and have a safe place to go after the war, which was very controversial. However, he did also allow many thousands of Jewish people to come into the country as well. The second thing is about Evita's death. So when Evita died, she died of cancer, and she was the first person to receive chemotherapy in the country of Argentina, but unfortunately it did not work for her and she did die. When she died, they closed the government down for 2 days, complete government shutdown for 2 days. Businesses closed, schools closed, and flower shops ran out of flowers in Buenos Aires because so many people purchased flowers to buy to put at a memorial for her. So I mentioned that her body was stolen, that it was taken and hidden for years. So let's watch a video clip to see what happened.
Eva Duarte had come a long way. Born out of wedlock in the Pampas region of the Argentine, the young woman had fought her way up from poverty to a position of the highest power in South American politics.
How could the corpse of one of the most famous women in the world go missing for almost 20 years? A 1950s icon, former First Lady of Argentina, Eva Peron, nicknamed Evita, was a divisive political figure. The wife of dictator Juan Perón, she's perhaps best known for her work with the impoverished, or for the biographical film Evita, starring Madonna. But one of the most unusual parts of Evita's story took place after her death.
Evita is dead. Eva Peron, powerful First Lady of Argentina, dead of cancer, no longer to bask under the admiration of crowds in the plaza.
Her embalmed corpse disappeared for almost 20 years in one of history's most remarkable stories of death, deceit, and dictatorship. In 1955, 2 years after Evita died, a military coup ousted Juan Perón, forcing him to flee the country and live in exile in Spain.
For 3 days, civil war raged openly, during which approximately 4,000 people were killed. Juan Perón had come to the end of the line.
The Argentine military tried to remove all trace of the Perons from the country. It was even made illegal to speak their names. It's thought that even though she was dead, that the new military dictatorship didn't want to risk her corpse becoming a symbol of opposition. And so the military removed Evita's body from where it had been stored at the CGT headquarters, moving her casket to a number of locations, including the back of a van parked in Buenos Aires. Then, in 1957, the Vatican is said to have secretly assisted the military to remove her remains from the country altogether. Evita was taken to Milan and buried under a false name. The decades that followed were far from peaceful in Argentina, and for years, the public was still in the dark over where Evita's body was. Finally, in 1971, striking a deal with Juan Perón for his support in exchange for the return of Evita's body, the Argentine military revealed her location. Evita was exhumed, and her body returned to her exiled husband and his new wife Isabel, who were living in Madrid. Isabel is said to have cleaned Evita's body, blow-drying her hair, and reportedly displayed her casket from time to time in their dining room. The Peronist Party was eventually legalized again in Argentina.
The government suffered a stunning defeat at the hands of the Peronistas. In Madrid, where Juan Domingo Perón lives in luxury, the 66-year-old former dictator greeted the events with satisfaction and a strangely detached manner.
Moving back to his home country, Juan Perón was voted president in 1973. Shortly after returning to Argentina, Juan died of a heart attack. Evita's body was flown to Buenos Aires so that she could be buried alongside Juan in 1974 in a crypt at the presidential residence Los Olivos. In a remarkable twist, another coup just 2 years later resulted in the couple's bodies being removed from Los Olivos, and Eva Peron was finally laid to rest in her family's mausoleum, 5 meters underground, with a heavily fortified crypt, so that she would never again be disturbed.